Welcome to SG Healthcare AI Datathon 2020. This tutorial will demonstrate how to use Huawei Cloud resources for your Datathon experience. This tutorial is brought to you by Wang Han, a second-year PhD student under Prof. Feng Mengling from Saw Swee Hock School of Public Health, National University of Singapore. Here are the three components of Huawei Cloud that you might be using. Elastic Cloud Server, or ECS, which is the remote CPU or GPU server allocated to each team as free computational power. Relational Database Service, or RDS, and Data Admin Service, or DAS, which hosts the EHR databases we will be using. Object Storage Service, or OBS, which stores the medical imaging datasets we have prepared. Firstly, let us learn how to log in to Huawei Cloud. Please go to one of these two links to access the Huawei Cloud console. If you see the login page on the left, please click IAM User Login. After that, you will see the IAM User Login page on the right. Input the first value as SG-Datathon-2020 and input the username and password that is sent to your Microsoft Teams, and then click Login. After login, you should be seeing this console page. First, check whether you are looking at the correct region. If you are not in AP Singapore, click the drop-down menu and click AP Singapore. After the region is changed to Singapore, look at the leftmost column of logos. The first one is ECS. Please click on it. You will see a list of ECS that is already set up and running. Find the ECS named with your team's number and note down the EIP address. To use the ECS, please access it via SSH over your own computer's terminal. The username is root, and the password will be given to you via Microsoft Teams. After you log into your ECS, the default virtual environment should be Conda N. We have already installed Anaconda built-in packages, PyTorch 1.7 and TensorFlow 2.3.1. Feel free to install more packages that you need. We already set up Jupyter Lab for the Python and R users. To start the Jupyter Lab server, log into your ECS. Only one member needs to start the Jupyter Lab server for only once, so please communicate internally who will do it. First, in your ECS terminal, run tmux to enter a tmux session. Next, run Jupyter Lab no browser allow root to start the Jupyter Lab server. After 3 to 5 seconds, the server should be running. Copy the token and save it somewhere else for later use. Press Ctrl and B together, release, and then press D. You should be back at the main screen of the terminal. After it is done, everyone in the team can follow next. Start a local terminal on your own laptop and run ssh-f-l at localhost @AAA, root at your ECS EIP-N. If your local 8888 port is occupied, change to 8123 at localhost @AAA, for example. After that, go to your browser, type the URL localhost @AAA/lab/workspaces/ID and hit enter. Please put different ID for different team member in your team, for example, Batman, Spider-Man, etc. If you are asked to input the token, paste the token that you have just copied and enter. If you have done everything correctly, you should see the Jupyter Lab interface in your browser. On the right-hand side of the Jupyter Lab, you can create Python 3 notebooks on R or notebooks. On the left-hand side, it is the file directory on your ECS. In the tutorials folder, you can look at 2 example notebooks on how to connect to the EHR database and 1 example README file on how to use OBS. If you are just using the EHR database and want to access them only via JupyterLab or ECS, you can stop watching this tutorial video, look at the tutorial notebooks, and start hacking. If you want to use the EHR database via a web UI, or you are using the medical images, please keep watching this tutorial video. Now, let's learn how to use DAS to access the databases in RDS. Go to the leftmost column of logos in the console page. Click the second logo. You will see there is one RDS instance running. Please click Login. You will see the login page. The username will be your team number, for example, team01. The database name is Postgres, and the password will be given to you via Microsoft Teams as well. Please click Test Connection before you click Login, and wait for the message Connection is successful. Please also turn on Collect Metadata periodically and show executed SQL statements. Now you will see the DAS page. We have installed EICU, Mimic3, and Mimic4 databases. To write SQL queries, click SQL operation and then SQL window. This is the SQL window. On the left-hand side, you can change the database you want to query. To see the tables under different schema, you can select the schema. On the right-hand side, you can write your queries, execute, and see the results. Sometimes you would like to store intermediate results for further queries. We suggest that you create tables for these results. In each database, we have already created a schema with your team's name. To create tables, write the query as create table name as bracket your table query and bracket. Execute the query and you should see the successful message below. On the left-hand side, go to your team's own schema. Click refresh. You should see the table you created just now. If you want to export the results as CSV to your local computer, you can click Import and Export and click Export. Then click Create Task and export SQL results. You will see the form on the right. Select the database you are exporting from. Allow rows control the maximum rows you can export. You can put it as unlimited and limit the number of results rows in your query if necessary. Keep file type as CSV and the character set as UTF-8. For storage, keep it as query results. Lastly, paste your full SQL query at the bottom, and you can create an export job. You will see a job created like this. When it is finished, click the download button on the rightmost. We suggest you explore the database and polish your query in the SQL window, and then copy the finished query and paste in the export window. If you would like to connect to the database via other methods, for example your local PG admin, here is the configuration. For teams working on medical imaging datasets, we have stored them in the OBS. Log into your ECS and use OBS util ls obs at Datathon to see the list of files. To download the OBS file to your ECS and other operations, refer to the README file under the Tutorials folder. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me via Microsoft Teams. Thank you very much. and enjoy your Datathon journey.